Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Happy New Year to everyone out there, 2019. Well, today what I thought I would do is take out all the conditions that we've consulted with over the last couple of months and last year, right? From PCOD to cancer to Alzheimer's to dementia to all of the conditions that we commonly come across. Now, what's interesting, what's very, very interesting is to notice and observe the commonalities that we see that connect almost each of these conditions. Now, cancer may be very different from heart disease. Dementia, Alzheimer's will be very different from weight loss. But there is a trend of commonality that exists between most of these conditions. And I have about 20 different conditions to talk about. So I think I'm going to do 10 today and 10 tomorrow. So the whole idea is to understand that if you have this condition, there are certain common lifestyle changes that we must all make in order to heal and, of course, to prevent. 2019 has to be a year where we focus on prevention. There may be many of us who have a condition right now, so as we focus on understanding that the human body has the power and the ability to heal itself, we should also focus on the fact that if we're healthy right now, what are the little things, the little inexpensive things that we can do to prevent the onset of disease or conditions? So we're going to start off straight away with PCOD. Now, everything that I talk about is not a replacement for your medicine or your doctors or any of that stuff. I have to say that right up front. But we need to understand that there is a lot more beyond medicine. We saw that right through the year of 2018. There is medicine, that's great. It's needed, many of us require it. But beyond medicine, there's this whole world that has to be explored. Things like lifestyle changes, things like hope, things like miracles, things like visualization, things like using the power of your subconscious to heal the condition that you have. So when we put all of these things together and you use medicine as a crutch, there is a huge possibility to heal and prevent. So we started with PCOD, which is basically polycystic ovary disorders or syndrome. Now, many young girls today, many teenage girls and many young women suffer from PCOD. They either put on contraceptive pills or they put on hormone replacements or they put on heavy medication to overcome this condition. It may be necessary for most people, but the commonalities that we saw through 2018 was, number one, stress. Most of the people who go through PCOD, in fact, all of them go through chronic stress, emotional stress, work stress, study stress, peer pressure stress. We found this commonality of stress in everyone, and it's so easy to understand that the more stressed you are, the more hormonal imbalance you have. And what exactly is PCOD? It's an imbalance of hormones in your body which affects your reproductive systems or parts of your reproductive system. In young girls and teenagers, we found that peer pressure, the pressure to succeed, the pressure to compete, the pressure to achieve something in life at a very young age, this pressure created chronic stress in young girls, which caused them to sleep less. Another commonality that we saw in women and young girls with hormonal disorders or PCOD was lack of sleep. They had irregular sleep patterns or less than even 6 hours of sleep per night. And this increased their stress levels and this increased their consumption of junk food and processed food. So you see, one little thing like stress can lead to poor sleep. Because we have poor sleep, we make the wrong food choices. We select foods that are rich in sugars and salts, anything that can give us instant energy, or we increase our caffeine intake. And we get into this vicious cycle, and that's why your contraceptive pill alone will never heal your PCOD. It will only suppress it and lead to other side effects. Along with the pill and the medication that your doctor gives you, I would encourage you to explore your lifestyle changes. Start, if you have young daughters, if you have teenage daughters, how much as a parent can you do to reduce their amount of stress? We need to understand that putting them under peer pressure and stress is not going to make them evolved human beings. They're going to grow up with fear. They're going to grow up with insecurity. They're going to grow up with low self-worth. So we have to let young girls evolve with the right guidance and the right amount of nurturing. That's how we need to handle human life going forward. Because once we get PCOD, we all understand that it can lead to other conditions later on in life. Let's move straight to type 2 diabetes. I'm not talking about type 1 diabetes, I'm talking about type 2 today. Type 2 diabetes. India right now is the diabetic capital of the world. This is a shame for our country. This is a shame for our economy because the industry of diabetes is evaluated at $350 billion So yes, it is denting our economy. It's making a few people very rich. It's making the pharmaceuticals very, very rich, but it's affecting our economy as a whole. And to understand type 2 diabetes, it is surprising to understand that most type 2 diabetics have been told by their doctors that they need to be on medication for a lifestyle. That is a lie. That is misinformation. Type 2 diabetes can be reversed. Type 2 diabetes in most cases is 100% reversible with lifestyle. After all, unlike type 1, type 2 diabetes is caused by poor lifestyle over the years, and it can be reversed when we make changes, when we put in effort and we add discipline to our lifestyles, we change our attitude and we start making these changes. We have hundreds of thousands of people out there right now on Facebook who have completely reversed their type 2 diabetes by making lifestyle changes, working with their doctors to eventually get off their medication. The number one thing that we've seen is a sedentary lifestyle. If you are sedentary, no amount of your diabetic medication is ever going to heal you. If you have type 2 diabetes or you're looking at preventing type 2 diabetes, you need to be active. Okay? I don't care about your career, I don't care about your ambition, unless you're agreeing to sacrifice all of that for your health. We need to understand that it is an excuse not to find time for activity. If you don't have time for a 1-hour workout, do you have time for 30 minutes? If you don't have time for 30 minutes, do you have time for 15 minutes? Some of the most successful and wealthiest people in the world do not find time to exercise. In no way can we categorize them as successful. Maybe financially they're successful, but if you've created wealth at the cost of your health, in no way is that a definition of success. Be wealthy, build a career, have a great position, but not at the cost of your health. So number one is a sedentary lifestyle. You want to make sure that you are active every single day. You see, the human body, you can afford to mess up your nutrition on 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe a week. But your body going throughout activity, going through 1 day of a sedentary lifestyle, 1 day of less activity impacts trillions of cells and hundreds of functions and the way insulin and your blood sugar levels work in the human body. So you can get away with poor nutrition for a while, but you cannot get away with a sedentary or inactive lifestyle. So number one, when it comes to diabetes, if you want to heal your diabetes, increase your activity. Number two, when it comes to diabetes, low carb. I cannot tell you how many type 2 diabetes refuse to lower the amount of carbohydrates in their diet. If by just lowering your carbohydrate intake, you will notice that your blood sugar levels improve. Your insulin sensitivity will improve as well. Now, when you go low carb, I don't mean you should starve and be hungry. You need to substantially improve your protein and your good fats. But in India, we all decrease our fat and we go low fat thinking we're going to lose weight, whereas the culprit has always been carbohydrates. The culprit is not fats. Yes, bad quality fats will mess up your health and your heart, but good fats will improve your heart health, it'll improve your diabetes, it'll improve your weight, it'll improve your hair, your skin and everything. So yes, we've been lied to. The culprit has never been fat, the culprit has been carbohydrates. So when you lower your carbohydrate, you start eating sufficient protein and you increase your healthy fats, you will never feel hungry. And that's what will allow you to go low carb. And when you go low carb consistently, I'm not talking about keto, I'm talking about low carb with the right amount of fat and protein, you will notice your blood sugar levels will start improving within 24 to 48 hours. Now that's something you got to try and believe, and you can only believe it when you try through self-realization. The third thing when it comes to your diabetes is your stress. You need to understand that your stress has a direct impact on your diabetes levels, on your sugar levels. When we're stressed, chronically stressed, I'm not talking about a little bit of stress. When you're chronically stressed, you produce cortisol. The more cortisol you produce, the more adrenaline you produce. After a while, your adrenal glands do not produce any more adrenaline because they're fatigued. Now, what does adrenaline do? Adrenaline goes, it signals to your cells to use the blood glucose that is stored in for energy. If I don't have adrenaline, that cell holding the blood glucose doesn't get that signal. And all of a sudden, your cell is full of blood glucose. And you have less space in that cell for oxygen. So now you have less oxygen, which is why you feel fatigued. And you have more blood glucose in your cells, which is supposed to be used for energy. So the more stressed you are, the higher chances of being diabetic and the higher chances of your type 2 diabetes getting worse rather than getting better. So it comes to stress, activity, and low carbohydrates when it comes to type 2 diabetes. Now, this requires effort and this requires discipline. If you have that attitude and mindset to do it, you will reverse your type 2 diabetes. If you're looking for the next best pill to heal you, it doesn't exist. Let's move to the third, cancer. Cancer has become an epidemic across the country, across the globe. Okay, and most people are still wondering what causes cancer and why we got cancer, but people are refusing to look at the research of the emotional connect with cancer. Why? Because you can't make money out of that. You can only make money out of things which are tangible. But I can tell you that 99.9% of the clients that we see every single day with cancer are now able to link the cause of their cancer with deep emotional trauma. I'm not talking about all cancers. There are some cancers which are unexplained, like a leukemia in an infant that's born, leukemia or blood cancers that hit children at a very, very young age. Most other cancers that we're talking about, breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, skin cancer, liver cancer, all of these cancers, I'm not saying stress alone causes it. Cancer is multifactorial. There are many, many things that contribute towards the cause of cancer. Today, people are blaming pollution and contamination in food. That may be a small factor, but where, after all of us are breathing the same air, we're literally eating the same food, that all of us should have cancer if that is the main cause. It is not the main cause, so we need to stop, filling our minds with the wrong concepts. Cancer has a huge connection with your emotions, and you have to start believing that at some point if you want to heal. There are people who are living with suppressed emotions like anger, irritability, jealousy, resentment, all of these emotions deeply rooted in them. The inability to forgive. I can't tell you how many patients we've seen through last year where they are unable to forgive one person in their life, and it drives them crazy, it rusts them from inside. It's just terrible. And you need to understand, if something's emotionally weighing you down, what's it weighing down on? Your immune system. You cannot have a cancer in a body where the immune system is working at its optimum. Because our immune system is weighed down, now we're susceptible to anything, which is why sick people don't get cancer, even fit people get cancer, even healthy people get cancer. The second thing when it comes to cancer is work on your emotional health, work on your sleep. If there is anything in 2019 that I want to drive and create the most awareness of, is not nutrition, it is sleep. Everything. If I had to categorize the most important thing for holistic health, it is not your nutrition, your exercise is secondary, your stress is secondary. It is sleep. One night of good sleep changes everything. The way you eat, what you choose to eat, the way you manage your stress, the way trillions of your cells are recharged with energy to keep your immune system functioning well. Every single thing revolves around sleep. So we have to understand that if you are compromising your sleep, you are compromising your health. And if you have cancer right now, more important than anything that you're taking, take your chemo, take your radiation, eat your nutrition, do your exercise, but give yourself 7 to 8 hours of solid sleep every night. Because if there is any healing that is going to happen for your cancer, it is going to happen while you sleep, period. While you sleep is where the healing of every disease and every human being happens. It happens while you sleep. So when it comes to cancer, we spoke about stress. We speak about a focus on boosting your immune system. We're living in a hard world today, in a difficult world where we're against pollution, contamination in food, contamination in water. So we have to constantly work on building a strong immune system so that we help our immune system identify mutating cells, identifying abnormal cells, identifying the growth of small tumors. So we have to help our body fight the possible disease that can be created in our system. When it comes to, what else has worked for us when it comes to cancer is definitely movement. Because movement means more blood circulation. More blood circulation means more oxygen to your cells. And by now we all know that oxygen is the prana. It is the life force of every single cell in the human body and in the human brain. Meditation and visualization played a huge role in the healing of most of our cancer cases. We need to program our subconscious minds. We need to constantly visualize how we will heal. We shouldn't worry about how it's going to happen. All we need to visualize that we are going to heal. The moment the human mind gives up and we believe we are going to die, we are going to die of our disease. But when we visualize so strongly every single night before we sleep that our body is healing, that the cancer is dying in our system, the power of visualization and meditation is one of the most powerful drugs that we have seen working through 2018 in almost every condition, from a rare syndrome to a normal common condition like the inability to lose weight. And your D3 and B12 levels. You want to monitor your D3 and B12 levels when you have cancer, when you have any disease in your body. because everyone thinks D3 is just for bones and everyone thinks B12 is just a vitamin. But it plays such a role in your immunity, in the ability for cancer proliferation of the cells to be, basically stopped. Your immune function, your strength, your brain health, your neurological health, fatigue, body energy, cellular energy. These two vitamins, almost 1 in 2 people are deficient in them. You want to make sure that, especially if you have cancer, that your levels are optimum. And in order to prevent the onset of disease, you want to make sure that these vitamins are absolutely in place all the time. I'm going to do one more condition before we end this video and continue to next. Heart disease. For the longest time, we've related heart disease to cholesterol, where if you're still chasing cholesterol, you're on the wrong path. What you need to be worried about is, when it comes to heart disease, lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation is the number one cause for inflammation in the human body. You have inflammation, you have a problem with your arteries. I'm yet to see data of most of the heart attacks that have happened because of high cholesterol. Okay, most of it has happened because of stroke, high blood pressure, plaque buildup in the arteries, which is either caused by too much of stress, caused by your condition of type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure. Literally nothing related to cholesterol. This doesn't mean that we dump our statins and we don't look at our cholesterol. We need to change our mindset and understand that getting a good night's sleep is more beneficial for your heart than your statin or a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. Stress again, because the more stressed you are, the more inflammation you create in your arteries. The more inflammation you create in your arteries, the more problems you have. Again, a sedentary lifestyle. You need to understand, every time you sit down, understand that you're doing something unnatural to your body. You may need to sit, but keep reminding yourself that I need to stand more than I sit, because a sedentary lifestyle is also connected with poor blood circulation. If you have poor blood circulation, your arteries cannot stay clean. You need the right blood pressure and you need the right circulation to keep your arteries clean. Otherwise, you have your plaque buildup, you have flurry activity that happens, and then you have inflammation. And of course, so when it comes to your heart, you want to look at your stress, you want to look at your sleep, you want to look at inflammation, and you want to look at exercise. And I've not even spoken about nutrition, because that's a very, very small part when it comes to your heart. You get these 4 macros right, and then of course you have a balanced, clean diet, it's going to take care of your heart health automatically. I'm going to end the video right now so it doesn't get long. Tomorrow we're going to talk about low immunity, we're going to talk about weight loss, we're going to talk about acidity, we're going to talk about constipation, and we're going to talk about IBS. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.